I figured something out yesterday. I cannot farm and film and dad at the same time. Now, two of those at the same time are hard enough. You know, farming and filming is hard. Farming and dadding is hard. Trying to do all three at once, at least for me, it's not happening. We've got just about 1 month left on our beef steer before he goes off to the processor. He spent the better part of the summer in that field over that way with the pond and plenty of shade. It really made keeping him super easy. He's minded the polywire to this point very well. So he's been over there, but it's time we move him into this field. Now this field has been growing up with nothing eating on it. The goats in a few spots, but for the most part, nothing's been eating on it for a few months since he's left it. So we're going to move him back over here, knock some of this down just a little bit before he goes, and we got some more polywire strung up. And that was kind of yesterday's project, getting the polywire perimeter set up around that temporarily so we can move him from that field to this field and then do some more work. But baby steps, I can only do so much at once. So part of the problem with only moving him once to this point, now this is twice, is he doesn't understand moving from one side to the other. So he has a tremendous amount of respect for the polywire, which is exactly what we want, but the problem is when it's not there, he still doesn't know that he can walk through a certain area. You know, if we had made a gate, which is what we're attempting to do here, where he can walk from this field to, from that field into this one, it'd be fine. We've been doing this, I've had the camera going for 24 minutes now, and he hasn't been able to come through. It's just all a mental thing, which it's exactly what you want, but when you don't want it, it just takes time. If we did this more often, we wouldn't have that issue, but for now, we just went ahead and re-energized this loop, so the field he's in is, you know, still has power. He's not going to get up on the fence and realize that it's not on and try to do something stupid. We'll get there. It's going to give us some time. No reason to rush, no reason to get him all animated and agitated and aggravated. Just let him do his thing. We're so close. And now for today's change of plans segment here on the GWP Homestead vlog. Nothing ever really seems to go like I intended to go, and that's totally okay. He does not want to go through there. I am running out of daylight, of course, and it's all right. What we decided to do was just leave this lane open here. So this entire loop is now going to be energized, and I got to test it with the little test light that we have to make sure that it's all, you know, up to snuff. But he's got a good little lane. He can walk through there, no big deal. He's gonna, I don't know, this is adequate. The fence unit on this side, I need to take my line post on this and move it over here because I've only got so many. Can't do it until he's completely out of that pasture. And of course my camera dies mid-sentence because why wouldn't it? This is adequate, what we have set up here. That's all gonna work just fine for the time being. I assume, because his feed is on this side of the fence, he's gonna find his way from that field into this one, and we'll just close him up on a different day. Maybe he'll go back and forth freely for a little while. Might be another day, might be a week. I have no idea, and I can't tell you how things are gonna go. I'm glad we only have a month left with this guy because we are running low on feed again. He did exactly like we wanted to the next day. He finally convinced himself, after going all night without his normal, supper, I guess. He finally got brave enough, walked up that little hill through that little homemade gate that we kind of made there in the polywire, and I don't think he's left this field since then. It's been 2 days. Well, behind the scenes. It's been 2 days since then. He hasn't left, and he is content. So we moved his feed from over there to here. Well, eventually we're going to move it into the barn where we'll finish him out for, well, we'll start feeding him in the barn, make it easier to put him up, because on his final day, he'll go up there and we'll load him on a trailer from the barn, because that's the easiest thing we can do. Once I get these line posts moved, I need to have a moment of real talk. If you want to hear that, then stick around. But the first thing we got to do is get him sealed up in here. So I just had a really smart idea. When I bought that polywire reel, I bought it preloaded with 2,000 feet of fence. 2,000 feet of fence is way too much fence for this reel. It's just too much. I wanted to cut some of it off. I have a project I want to do with the goats to be able to divide them up in the field they're in. I have no idea where I'm going. I was walking blindly backwards and talking. Dangerous idea. So I just measured out how much fence I need, because I'm going to have a backlash and a bird's nest down a stick on this reel if I don't do something now, and I don't want to fight with it tonight. So we're going to do this now, because it's the best thing I know how to do. Get into the mulberry tree, and it's going to save me some headache. Not the order I thought I was going to do things in, but we're doing it now anyway, because that makes the most sense. Well, that's all right. You didn't need to see that anyway. I don't remember a September, which we're just about to enter fall, I guess now. It feels like it's getting dark much earlier than normal. That's not the case. It just feels that way. But yeah, so you get home in the evening and try and do something, eat supper with family, do something outside, and then all of a sudden it is just dark. And that's the way it goes this time of year. But that kind of leads into, there's a bird in my shop. That kind of leads into this real talk thing. And if this doesn't interest you, I appreciate you watching the video. We'll see you next time. I said at the beginning of the video, and I do not mean this as I hope this is an encouragement to you. This isn't a take pity on me or, oh my gosh, I have it so bad, because I don't. It is really, really hard to do YouTube stuff and to do the farm things, and then to also be a dad. 2 of the 3 is okay. So you can farm and YouTube and film, and that's hard enough, but you can do it. You can, be a dad and do YouTube stuff, and you can farm and be a dad. No, any combination of those 2 together is difficult in and of its own right. But doing 3, at least for me, it feels impossible. And it's just managing the kids and making sure they stay out of trouble and trying to get things done, and you can't open a gate wrong and doing all this stuff. It's just really, really hard, and trying to come up with an interesting product for you. You're the one watching this. I'm putting in a lot of effort here. I want you to enjoy this. It's just tough. And, we were going to try to move this guy on Saturday, and it just, didn't really work out. I was trying to think, how do I do this with kids? Because they needed to get outside. They'd been inside most of the day. Let's just find something to do and get them out. And it's just, I got to move the camera, and I got to do this, I got to do that. It just wasn't working. And you know what? It's not worth it to me to try to come up with a way to do that. And if you're in the same boat as me, if you are a parent with young kids and it's hard to do YouTube stuff and do other stuff at the same time, just don't feel like you're alone in it. I watched a video of a guy. I don't subscribe to this guy's channel, but I've watched some of his stuff quite a bit. He does really great work. I'm not going to say, call him out what he is, or his channel name here, but he said something. He finally got to go full time with YouTube, and he made a comment and said, "Yeah, I sacrificed a lot of time with my kids when they were young to make this happen, because it was like a second job to him. And you're supposed to treat this, if you ever want to make this thing a full-time career, you've got to treat it like a full-time career." But man, I'm not going to get that time with my kids back, and to go to sporting events with them, to be their coach in baseball or softball or football. Those are moments I'm never going to get back. They're only going to be the age they are once, and just trying to, if I had to keep them inside to do this effectively, what's the point of even doing this? When we bought this farm, this was just as much for them as it was for us. We wanted them to grow up outside in the woods and in the fields and just doing farm kid stuff. And if they've got to stay in the house so they can be out of my way and give me, I don't have to think about where they are, making sure they're not getting into something they're not supposed to get into, just so I can move a camera around and think about that, that's not worth it to me. If it is to you, more power to you. I guess you and I just have a disagreement on that, and that's totally okay. We don't have to agree. But it's just tough, and that's okay. The point of this is to say, if you're in the same boat as I am, I don't want you to feel like you're out there by yourself. Sometimes it can feel that way for me, even though I know that's not the case. It's just it's just tough. But you're not alone in it. I know I'm not alone in it, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video, to watch our channel, to keep up with what we're doing. I really do appreciate it. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. So anyway, the cow has been moved. He is in a new spot until he leaves his farm. That's where he's going to be, and I'm glad. He seems he's really doing well. We could probably take him off any day now if we wanted to, but he's got about another month. No worries there. He's going to be fine. And there's plenty of stuff for me to do as well, like edit this video. So my name's Reagan. This is the GWP Homestead. See y'all soon.